people? Top of the morning is Monday, February 15th, 2021. A lot of things happened this past weekend. Had a drive-by shooting, some crazy shit. Outside of that, KARE 11 reached out, Fox 9 News reached out. So I have 2 interviews today. I'll be going out and speaking to the press about all the stuff that I am pressed about with the violence and gun violence that we have here in North Minneapolis and in Minneapolis as a whole. But so you guys stay tuned. It's a beautiful day. It's negative 22 outside. Look how gorgeous it looks outside. You see this sunshine? It looks just so good, but it's cold as shit. The weather is lying to us. It's cold, people. Hey, yo, Google. Okay, Google. What's the temperature outside? Let's see if this hoe can hear me. Okay, Google.
Minneapolis right now, it's minus 10 degrees. Due to current wind conditions, it feels like it's minus 21.
Nigga, it is 21. If it feel like it, it is. Crazy. That's the weather we're having here in Minnesota. We don't know why we live here, but we live here. What's that? Okay, Google, what's the weather again, my nigga?
Right now in Minneapolis, it's minus 10 degrees and sunny. Today, it'll be mostly sunny, with a forecasted high of minus 2 and a low of minus 17. Due to current wind conditions, it feels like it's minus 21.
Why, people? Why? And I'm doing this interview outside, so y'all know I'm gonna look sexy and bundled up, but stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay warm.
What happened on Saturday? You were sleeping. What happened?
Yep, so I woke up, I was taking a nap, a midday nap at 4:33 p.m. Shots just rang off and I hit the floor. It just sounded too close, so I checked my camera and I was able to see basically a shootout happening right in front where there was a person who felt like he was getting chased. The cars that were chasing him possibly, we don't know. But again, it just, the next thing I know is the shots are going off, and after those shots go off, 30 minutes later, my renters give me a call. Hey, did you did you hear the shooting? And it's like, yeah, it's hard not to, and jumped in, and they told me, hey, do you have any footage of it? Our car got hit, so the next thing you see me do is go outside and check everything out, and their car got about 5 shots, unfortunately. And then the neighbor house window their upper level unit also window was shot too.
And from what you see in the video, because obviously you live on the same street as your renters, and you have that video, which shows really clearly the shots going off, and then you see a guy off there, and then you see some cars, but that guy was in a car. He got out of a car.
Correct.
Scary, obviously. I mean, you were very adamant in the video. You said, I can't do this. This is not acceptable. What are your thoughts after that?
To be honest, this is the norm. For me as a homeowner, I live in North, I mow the yard, I do all the necessary homeowner things, but I also have to carry my service weapon. I have a permit to carry. This was one of the things I had to invest in, knowing that I was going to buy in this area. And as I've learned the things that are custom in this area, I've become a norm. So unfortunately, this just affected me. Because it affected my renters. I've seen things happen in the neighborhood. There's plenty of footages that have happened, indirectly that happens because it's a norm. Problem is, we necessarily react when things start to affect us. And so as it continues to get closer and closer, and now it literally hit almost my home, and also my established business, it's, now I'm going to be more vocal. I've been vocal throughout all the things that I do as an activist. But as a person who intentionally invested in North Minneapolis, I wanted to look like a community. There's always a narrative that successful people move out of the defined hood, but not about successful people moving into the defined hood. And so I give it quotations because I don't see the area as that. I see it as a home, and I see it as a place where it's opportunity when opportunity sees it as that. Problem is we don't have enough people investing in North Minneapolis, and so we see the things that are happening. It's not normal. It's not normal to people who live in Woodbury, Edina, St. Louis Park, because I lived in those areas. I lived in Edina, I lived in St. Louis Park. I moved from those places to North Minneapolis, and so as I know the custom of what life should be, in North Minneapolis, unfortunately, this is a custom. As you hear me having a conversation with my neighbor. And now we have the second interview. We're interviewing with Fox 9 News and talking about the safety of being a landlord, but also having to be responsible for the safety of my tenants. So you guys stay tuned for this upcoming one. a lot of stuff been happening, and it's stuff that I see normally, really. So these shootings, this happens all the time, people. Really, for me, it's a normal day. The situation is, it was not a normal day when it affected me, where it infected my renters. And so the reason why I'm speaking now is because now it's really effective. I hear the shot left and right. People getting shot off the road, woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, hey, I don't know what you did to get shot at. Start shooting towards, or woo, woo, woo. But in this situation, ain't no one was doing nothing. I was taking a damn nap. People were downstairs playing video games, and we just hear people busting really outside the house. Like, that's on a Saturday at 4:30. Like, what do you mean? People, if this is even if it wasn't a Saturday, this is peak times that people are coming home from work, kids are getting out of school, and again, at that low intersection is actually where there's a school bus. That's actually the bus stop. So you put all these things together. This shouldn't be a norm in the community that we live in. Problem is, this is the norm. And if you look at the video, the neighbor comes out. I had never met my neighbor until this situation. And it told me for him to have I've been here for 20 plus years. And this is the worst one that we've had since this situation. Also, you're just used to this. Damn, okay. I'm new to it. You know, I've been a homeowner for under a year, you know, basically a year and a half or so. So outside of all that, people, it's wild. It's a crazy time to be alive out here in 2021. But the conversation that needs to be had is, what are we doing with this gun violence, or lack of conversation that we're having about gun violence? I see a lot of people in the community that are doing it, and there's a list of people doing it. Literally, I could throw a list out, but all the people that are doing it individually, there has to be in my opinion, a coalition of all those individuals being all under one wheelhouse that are able to tackle the things that they want to tackle collectively, like a Justice League, because there's so many people saturating in a saturated area like North, South Minneapolis, or whatever, you know, opportunity zone that has, you know, these problems that we have, gun violence, poverty, you know, the list goes on, lack of opportunity, AKA. Having a coalition that does it and be able to put these people's talents to work, because there's so many people doing things so individually and so spread out, it may be hard to see the track record of all the things that need to be done and how we effectively can do those things as a whole. It's better to do things in numbers than alone. So I say all that because I see so many people doing great things in the community here in Minneapolis, and it's beautiful to see. And there's just so much stuff that we need to, there's so much more that we all have to do and put forward. And I know there's so many who have been doing this for so many years, and I'm just a little kid, really, to the process. But in a broader sense of understanding, from the compassion that I'm looking to excel with what I'm saying is, this is not working no more. Like, this is not cool. This is a community that I very enjoy. I would love to raise kids, as most people would do in this community, because it has so much culture. And within the culture, we also have the violence that this community has unfortunately had to deal with generations after generations. When are we going to actually break that stigma and break that generational trauma, unless we have this conversation? And why not have it now? You at home, we all in the panty, but people are out there in negative 20-degree weather still causing ruckus because they know there's no one on the road, so more opportunity to take advantage or do whatever the hell they're currently doing to cause this ruckus. I don't know. I'm inside. It's cold as hell. Last thing I'm trying to do is go out there and be around people who don't like me or are trying to get at me. I'm good. So y'all stay blessed. I got to get to this interview, and I just want to go on a little tangent. This is what's happening. This is Monday, February 15th, after Single Awareness Day, and we're talking to the press on the pressing matters that we are having in the community as a whole. All right, guys, Fox 9 is here, so I'm gonna take my ass over here. It's cold as fuck. It's cold as fuck, and it's cold as fuck. Outside of that, people, I keep the blip on me, so you know, not too worried. No matter what I do when I'm outside, I keep my blip on me, and yeah. So they're setting up, and I'm stationing myself. It's a cold day, but it's a beautiful day to bring some justice to the.
That might be you with the camera.
Hey man, that's the only person out here crazy enough to be out here. Literally, it's cold as hell. It's definitely cold.
Putting on the heavy duty jacket.
As you should, as you.
Good. I'm just going for utility.
Yeah.
How you doing? Paul Blim. Nice to see you.
Denarius, nice to meet you.
When I pulled up, there was a 7-year-old who got shot last summer. He lived on the corner right up here.
Yep. I remember that. There's always, honestly, this intersection, there's always something here. I just bought the house in 2019, so
Yeah.
just, being that house hacking. I live upstairs, my renters live downstairs, living free and all that stuff, but it comes with a cost when it depends on the area.
So is this? I mean, I know you want it, but this is kind of the area.
Yep, this is the area. I mean,
Did anybody take bullets from like a car or house?
this car right here, white one, still has bullets on the side.
From this weekend?
From this weekend, yeah. You can see the bullet holes and.
Yeah, I saw it in your video.
Yep. And then my renters, they had to get theirs obviously towed and get repaired.
Yeah.
And there's another.
Won't take up much of your time, because I know you're a very, very busy young man. But Saturday, you were taking a nap, and what woke you up?
Yeah, so Saturday at 4:33 p.m. This is February 13th, the day before Valentine's, and just taking a nap at 4:33. About 20 shots rang out, and I had to roll on the floor and hit the floor to, embrace myself. I'm thinking it's a dream, but I know that's too real to not. And I checked my camera, and I see a little situation outside on my front porch, and then I get a call from my renters that live downstairs that their car got shot at, and we had to take care of that situation as well.
Wow, you said something in the tape that kind of stuck with me. This is what we deal with every day in North Minneapolis.
Yep.
Why do you say that?
I live here. It's a custom, and unfortunately, it's such an accustomed thing where I hear shots in the neighborhood always. You hear it down the road, you hear it up the block, and now that it's in front of my house and it's affected someone in my house, it's hitting them closer to home. And so, as I see it happen, so all the ruckus that happens off Broadway, over in Murray's Liquor, Winter's gas station, again, it hits home. So unfortunately it's a normal thing, but I don't want to continue to normalize things that put people's lives in danger.
What needs to be done? How do we stop the violence? How do we get the guns off the streets?
Leadership, and it's not only the guns that are on the streets, it's those who police the streets. And so the response time for this incident was 2 hours. Now we have stray bullets that hit cars, we have stray bullets that hit homes. How would we have known if someone got hit if the cops are only responding 2 hours later? So that's the real situation I would love to bring attention to, because if these things are happening in the community and people are calling on these in the community and there's no one to answer, that was a situation. We had three of my neighbors actually call the cops, and it took 2 hours for the cops to actually physically show up.
Concern you that we're 200 officers down from this time last year that usually patrol our street?
It is disheartening. I have many relationships with police departments, I understand the time that people started to step down was around the George Floyd, but there's also people who want to step up to the plate. I know there are people who want to police the community. If it's not the police, if we're going to defund the police, what does the reinvestment look like into the community? Whether that's the community, policing the community. So it's a never-ending conversation around rhetoric, but the solution is in the actions that the leadership in-house needs to do something about.
What would you do to change things up to kind of make sure you're not a target?
At the end of the day, this is a reality. So what makes me not a target is I have my permit to carry. I'm always over my shoulder. I'm always being aware of my environment. As being a homeowner and landlord, I have to protect my property. But as I'm doing my normal homeownership, cutting the yard, trimming the trees, I also have to carry my service weapon, because things have happened in the neighborhood where unfortunately people get taken advantage of when they're not looking. So the best things I do for myself is I carry my service weapon. I have my permit to carry. I keep the cameras around my properties, and I just always look over my shoulder. But outside of that, that shouldn't be a norm. All right, people, that's all in a day's work. And now it's time for my midday nap. I'll let you know if anyone starts busting outside.